There are two seas in Israel: the Dead Sea and the Sea of Galilee. The Sea of Galilee is teeming with life, plants. In fact, there are kinds of fish in the Sea of Galilee that exist nowhere else in the world. There are all kinds of wonderful animals that gather around the Sea of Galilee all the time. And in fact, the Sea of Galilee is a lush and beautiful area, whereas the Dead Sea, is literally dead. Nothing can grow there. Nothing lives there. It's barren. It's filled with salt. In fact, they say that if you go to the Dead Sea, you can lay on top of the water almost and just be buoyed, because it's a dead sea. It's named aptly. And yet, did you know that both the Dead Sea and the Sea of Galilee are fed by the same source? The Jordan River. The Jordan River feeds both the Sea of Galilee and the Dead Sea. So how is it that the Sea of Galilee is teeming with life and the Dead Sea is dead? It's very simple. You see, the Sea of Galilee receives the water from the Jordan and then releases it out the other side, whereas the Dead Sea only receives. It doesn't give anything. What a powerful metaphor for the reality of our lives in our everyday life. That if you receive nourishment, you receive blessings, you receive the good things of life, you also give them out as well. But when my life becomes inward, when my life becomes self-centered, when my life becomes self-focused, I die inside. Well, that's a nice story, and it's a nice little metaphor, and it's a lovely little thing that you may not have known, but now you do. But what does it have to do with today's gospel lesson? Everything, because, dear ones, if we are going to be men and women who do not deny Christ to our generation, we're going to have to be men and women that refuse to hold into ourselves the blessings that God has bestowed upon us. The multitude of blessings that God has bestowed on us. Freedom, the freedom to move around, economic freedom, in a relative sense. We have people all over the world that would consider our poorest American to be the most wealthy person in the entire village. So the blessings that we have received, we are called to share. The blessings that we have received in our lives, in our education, in our abilities to think, in our ability to reason, and with our minds, the wonderful opportunity that we have to be educated in all kinds of ways nowadays. Why, if you have an internet connection, you have access to more information in an hour than most people had in the 19th century in their entire lives. We are blessed people. We are a fortunate people. We are an honored people. And for those of us who are blessed to be Orthodox Christians, we have at our disposal every spiritual treasure that a human being will ever need to become what God has made them to be. We have at our disposal, at the moment's notice, we have all of the saints available to us. We have all of the wisdom of the fathers. We have all the wisdom and the love of each other as a community in the faith. We have access to every spiritual support and every spiritual help that any human could ever want in an entire lifetime. Plus, we have all the grace of God given to us daily. The Scripture says that it rains on the just and the unjust. The sun shines on the righteous and the unrighteous. God doesn't withhold him. Watch this, folks. God does not withhold himself from anyone, anywhere, at any time. God is continually pouring out his grace and his love and his mercy and his forgiveness and his kindness on every human being 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The only difference is whether you are someone who blesses or someone who hoards. The person who hoards, it doesn't matter how much blessed water pours into the Dead Sea, it's dead. Because it keeps it to itself. And for the Galilee, the Sea of Galilee, all kinds of water comes in there and leaves, and it continually teems with life. If I am going to be the person that does not deny Jesus Christ to my generation, I'm going to have to be a man or a woman willing to share the blessings of my life with others, to share the spiritual treasures of my life. I love what a part of the encyclical from the Great and Holy Council that just finished meeting today came out when it said, when it talked about that it is the church's eternal duty. Now, I want you to notice that word that the bishops use. It is the church's eternal duty to re-evangelize the faithful and to evangelize everyone who does not know Christ. That's what our patriarchs, our bishops declared today in their encyclical. That it is the church's duty to share our faith. It is not an option. No matter how many times we may have heard that we Orthodox, well, we don't evangelize. I don't know what Orthodox church you've been reading about. We Orthodox don't proselytize. No, that's true, folks. We don't go around passing out tracts and knocking on doors and doing that thing because we don't have to. All we have to do is show up and be who we are. All we have to do is be the Sea of Galilee instead of the Dead Sea. All we have to do is be willing to share our lives, and the joy that Christ produces in our lives will be evident to all, and they'll want the refreshing spiritual life that we have. Is that true in your life? Why not? Why, if it is, good? Why not if it isn't? Are there some blockages in your heart and in your life where you've become self-centered, where you've become focused, where you've narrowed your life down to only your own stuff? And you found that because of that, your life has become stagnant and lifeless. On this Sunday of All Saints, brothers and sisters, fellow Orthodox believers, if you are truly going to be Orthodox in more than just the happy accident of your birth, your life is going to have to be a source of blessing to others if you're ever going to receive the blessing that God is pouring out on all of us all the time. You are going to have to be willing to give away what you think you must hoard. You're going to have to be willing to share what you think you must keep. You're going to be willing to have to release what you think you must grasp. If you're going to have peace, if you're going to be Orthodox in more than just name, you're going to have to learn to give this faith away. Because if you don't, it's the only treasure, folks, that unless you give it away, you'll never keep it. On this Sunday of All Saints, with the heritage of holiness that we have been the blessed people to receive, what manner of men and women should we become in our lives so that our world will receive the blessings of the holiness of God in our generation? Will we deny Christ, or will we proclaim Him? Lord, have mercy.